What's up? I'm Logan Mills and welcome to this video. It is going to be on how to help you learn how to tie a Palomar knot. Very strong knot. I have a lot of confidence in it, and it is a pain to tie when you're first learning it. So I'm going to help break it down so you can tie it. It's an easy knot once you learn it, but to learn it, it's a little difficult because it's a little confusing sometimes. So I'm going to break it down so it's easier for you to understand, so you can tie it, so you have confidence in your gear, especially your knots, because knots are one of the most important parts of fishing. To catch fish, to land fish, not just your bigger fish, but even your little fish you can break off. So I want to first say sorry for last week. I had COVID and it was not fun, so I missed the last week's video. That's why, so I want to apologize for that. And I'm going to get into this video now. I use a Palomar knot, and I use the clinch knot, improved clinch knot. It's a good knot. I did a video on it a few weeks ago. It's in the description. We'll put it in the description below, so you can check it out if you want to. But I like Palomar knot better. Just one, I throw the drop shot, and two, I just have more confidence in this knot now, just from seeing the fish that I've caught, and not really losing fish on this knot. So today, when we did the improved clinch knot, we used line and a hook, so it's a little hard to see, so that's why we're using string. And I'm just going to use a big lure today, so it's easier for you to see visually. You can do this with any lure you want, like if you're tying a Texas rig, if you're doing small crankbaits, any lure you could think of, you could tie this with. I usually do it with drop shot because that's what the Palomar knot is for. But we're just going to use this. We're tying it on the back one because these split rings, that's where you put the hook and you tie your line, and it messed the first string we did up. So we have to do it on the back loop. So first you want to take the end of your line. We're going to pretend that this part is on my spool. This is attached. So this is a part that's hanging off, the end of your line, or the end of your rod. This is what you're going to tie. You're going to take your lure, and you're going to take your line. Usually what I would do, I lick the end of it, just like that, just so it kind of makes the line at a point, so I don't mess it up. It just makes it easier. You don't have to do it. I do it with braid especially, but fluorocarbon and monofilament, you don't really have to because it's not all over the place like braid. So what you do is you take your line, you stick it through the loop, and you pull the amount of excess line that you need. So with this, since this is a bigger lure, I'm going to need more excess line. If you're throwing a drop shot, this determines how deep or how far your drop shot's going to sit off the bottom. So just get enough excess line that you need that will work for your lure, because you're going to cut a good bit of line off. So it's just however much you need. This one I need a little bit more. So then I'm going to hold my lure. I'm going to take the line that I just put through the loop. I'm going to put it through the loop again. I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to take the line that's attached to my reel right here. This is attached to my reel. And I'm going to grab both the excess line and the line that's attached to my reel, and I'm going to hold it with one hand like so, and then I have my loop that I made. Make sure that you hold the loop, just so, because you're going to need it, and then you're really going to need it here when you have to put it around. So what you can do is test your loop to make sure it's big enough so it goes around your lure before you do this next step, just to make sure that you have enough line. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it, and you're going to make a simple overhand knot. Take your loop, and what I do is I take my loop and I grab it like with I use my middle finger or my ring finger and whatnot, and kind of push this line, and I put it around. Let me get this out the way. And so I'll take my loop that I have here, and I'm going to put it through this hole I made here, this simple overhand knot. And you take your loop, and I'm going to hold, I usually put my finger here to make sure that it's not going to cinch down all the way, but if you're careful, you don't have to worry about that. And then you're going to take it and put it around the lure, And so you'll have your line, your loop, and then what you're gonna do is take it, get this through there, I don't want that to mess up. And then I usually take it and I'll cinch it down like so. This wasn't the best knot, but kind of messed up, but it's still, like if you take it, it's not gonna break. This is, you know, string, so it is stronger than your fishing line, but don't pull on your fishing line like that. You might cause a fray or something, but this is just to show you how strong this knot is. And then, oh, I left my scissors downstairs. That stinks. But what you would do is, if you're gonna tie it to a crankbait like this, you cut this excess line off here because you don't want it to get in the way of the hooks or whatnot. So it looks something like, try and get this out the way, like this. It looks something like this. It's not gonna break. Or if you're using a drop shot, this excess line, you keep it on there and it's gonna sit, it's gonna walk like that. And you can adjust how far you want your weight up there. Very simple. This is a good knot that works really well. As you can see, I can't break it. Now if you get a big fish, you're still gonna have to play the fish. If it, you know, you get a 10-pounder or whatnot, you're still gonna have to play the fish. Usually what I do, I don't have braid. Like if I'm using a drop shot, I don't have braid on there. One of the most, like if you are using braid, I would make a leader. That is very important because fish can see the braid. It's crazy. You cannot see fluorocarbon. Ugh, started over that, in monofilament underwater. So if you are using braid, I would use a leader. But this is one of my favorite knots. I enjoyed tying it. But if you're in a tournament and you gotta go like that, if you're not confident with this knot, you can't get it quick, don't worry about it. Tie a knot that suits you, that you can get done quick as you can if you fish a tournament. If you're out there, you know, just fishing for fun or whatnot, take your time. You always want to have strong knots. That's one of the weakest points of your line. If you don't have a fray there, that's where it's going to break. So you got to make sure you have confidence in your knots, in your line, in your gear. You got to have confidence in everything you're doing. That's the only way you catch fish. If you don't have confidence in it, you don't fish good, you don't catch as much fish. But that is the Palomar knot, a very strong knot. See you in the next one. See you then. Stay hooked.